Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Kevin in Airdrie, Alberta wants to know if you would ever consider taking a coaching position.
Are you kidding? Like, I love my first wife, and I'm sure I'd be working on my second or third if I went into coaching. Coaching is ridiculous 24/7, and there is no breaks anymore. It's all year long. And I love the fact that we have a coach like Daryl Sutter. That's a special breed these days. And I'm absolutely the happiest guy being an ambassador not only to the club, to hockey, to the Hall of Fame. I love what I do, and I wouldn't change.
Yeah, good. Well, you are in the perfect role, and it's the coaches want to coach. I don't. You don't. Let them do it.
Absolutely.
You know, they love it.
And they're good at it.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. But nobody really has been able to explain yet how the Flames lost to the Oilers in 5 games last year. And I got to ask you, I assume you're at the Battle of Alberta Saturday night?
Absolutely.
How do you shut down Connor McDavid? Because nobody's figured that out yet.
Well, you look at him right now. Didn't he get 3 points in that game?
Yeah.
So he's got 9 goals, I think 9 assists in, I think, it might be 9 games, which is absolutely incredible.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
Will Ovi tie and break Wayne Gretzky's goal record? He's 114 goals away for the overall record. This is a hot button topic, dude. It's like 50-50 right down the middle on both Twitter and Facebook. I initially voted no on Twitter, and now I've changed my mind. Like, that's a lot of goals, Darren. It's hard to score one in the NHL. Maybe not for Ovi. I think he's going to do it, man.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show on a Wednesday. It is episode number 874 of your favorite and entertainment talk show. And I'm going to get into that, the entertainment component, in a second, because we have a very big guest joining us later on this week from the entertainment field. Don't mind me. I'm just calling up the YouTube feed right now. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Game Plus TV, and we're live on WQEE 99.1 FM. Your home for Southern Sports and Talk in Metro Atlanta, Noonan, Georgia. And I'm here at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Darren Moose DuPont is in the NHL's Bermuda Triangle, where he joins us today. And I'm saying hi to everybody this morning that's writing in the chat and the text line. I just want you to know I can't get to you right now because I'm opening the show and saying howdy do to the Moose. How you doing, Moose? What do you got for us today?
I'm doing great. Good morning. Yeah, it's one of those days. It's a little gloomy out here, but I think it's actually, can I say this? It's maybe better here than it is where you are, covered in snow. So not so bad this morning.
We're buried in snow here in the foothills of Alberta. And as I see people writing in, they just couldn't wait. 10:01 Mountain, 12:01 Eastern to get my thoughts on things. Stand down. We'll get to your questions and comments, but that's not what we do here. Now, a couple of things. That's not the format that we do here. It's only 874 episodes in, Moose. They're still figuring out how we do things. Yesterday afternoon, I was enjoying, pardon the interruption, I got to say, I really enjoy those two guys, Kornheiser and Wilbon. And they're talking about none of the things that I care about. They're not talking about the NHL. They're not talking about the CFL. They're not talking about junior hockey or the Toronto Raptors. No, but I don't care. I'm just entertained. I broke out laughing a couple times at those two guys, Kornheiser and Wilbon. And for 20 years, they've been doing it from 2 different locations across America, exactly what we do every day. And I thought, I just hope that our viewers get as much enjoyment out of what we do as to what those guys' viewers do. It's just awesome. And I will say later on this week, Friday morning, right here at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, right at the Stage Bar, Tom Cochran is going to be joining us here. The ageless, the peerless Tom Cochran who's performing Friday
about
night in the
that?
Grey Eagle Event Center. Right. That's where sports morphs with entertainment. That's what we want on this show. I've been a fan of Tom Cochran a long time. I've owned his CDs. That tells you how old we both are. And I have the number one question ready to go. The number one question for Tom Cochran. The second Sheldon from the Grey Eagle told me that Tom Cochran's going to be joining you. I was like, I know what I want to ask him. So, folks, you got a couple of days to get your questions ready for Tom Cochran. He'll be live in this chair coming up later on. Okay. And we also had two guests bail on us today. Actually, three. One because of weather, two because of prior engagements. They double booked themselves. So I'll just give you the roadmap. It's the Moose and I for the first 40 minutes, and then our COO, Lee Genier, is going to fight his way through the storm to get down here because we do have a storm of snow here today in Calgary for a good portion of the show today. And then Derek Keenan, the general manager of the NLL's Saskatchewan Rush, is going to be with us. So that's the roadmap. And can you hit the quick six show horn, please? And thank you, producer Clark. I will say this as I've had discussions with folks this week. You understand, people don't listen, and people rarely change unless they want to. So for 874 episodes, I've been sitting here saying, this is me and Darren time. We get through the quick six show topics, and later on, we turn it over to the viewers. They still don't get it, Darren, because they don't listen. So we do here in the hockey season what we call the morning skate. Of 12 NHL games last night, it was a virtual buffet. And incidentally, I hit the buffet here yesterday, and it was amazing. I'm not going to go through all 12 games, but I'll give you some highlights. Kirill Kaprizov scored twice, and Joel Eriksson-Ek added 2 assists as the Minnesota Wild defeated the visiting Montreal Canadiens 4-1. In NHL action on Tuesday night in Tampa, Nikita Kucherov had a goal and 2 assists, and the Tampa Bay Lightning rallied to beat the Senators 4-3 Tuesday night. Sens gave up 2 leads in that game. Speaking of blowing leads, 3 goals in a span of just under 5 minutes in the third period spurred the visiting Seattle Kraken to a 5-4 win over the Calgary Flames Tuesday night. Tyler Toffoli had a goal and a helper to hit 400 career points. Nazem Kadri, Nikita Zadorov, and Trevor Lewis also scored for the Flames. Moose, when it was 4-4, I turned to my friend Tammy, tapped her on the shoulder, and I said, I'm out. When it was 4-2, I said, the Flames got this. It was a kiss of death. And I'll say this, the Calgary media now, I've been here over a year, and they were very nice to me in the Saddle Dome last night. I went down after the first period. I went and sat in a suite for the second, and I sat with Tammy and her friend in the third, and then I left a little early. And then I'm getting text messages later on going, well, you left too early from the media. Where'd you go? What'd you think of the ending? You know, so just on the Flames blowing it, Jordan Eberle plays his butt off every night, should be the captain of the Seattle Kraken. He was back checking, and I'm thinking, he must have family here tonight. But that's not fair. Every time I watch Jordan Eberle, he's been back checking a lot more than he used to. But the Flames blew it, and from what I understand, it's going to be a bag skate today in the Saddle Dome right now for the Flames. Up the road in Edmonton, Leon Draisaitl had a goal and 4 assists as the Edmonton Oilers blasted the visiting Nashville Predators 7-4. Evander Kane had a hattie. Connor McDavid, him and Bedard, I get mixed up between the two all the time. Connor 1 and Connor 2, right? Connor 1 had 2 goals and 2 assists for the Oilers last night. And we wind it up with the Canucks. Yegor Sharangovich and Jack Hughes each scored in knots to help her as the New Jersey Devils dumped the Canucks 5-2 in Vancouver on Tuesday. So that's some of the action from Tuesday night. And I'm going to get to my NHL top 5 and bottom 5 in a moment because I had to put a little thought into this. But what was your hockey viewing menu last night?
Yeah, I got caught a bit of the Flames game, and yeah, it was a tough one. You don't want to blow a 2-goal lead, that's for sure. So that won't stick very well with Daryl. But I thought it was really nice of the Flames to put you up on the big screen last night. I thought that was
you saw that?
A nice little touch. Yeah.
Twice. My phone blew up. Rod, you're on the big screen at the Flames game. Listen, I had a chat here today with some Oiler fans in the Grey Eagle, and they're like, man, I thought you grew up an Oiler fan. I'm like, the Oilers haven't done squat for me. Look what the Flames are doing for me. Look what Calgary's doing for me. It's business, man. I'm not a business man. I'm a business man.
How about that?
That's how I'm getting treated in
That's
Calgary. So why wouldn't you love the Flames and stuff? So, yes, anyway, sorry to jump on that, but I forgot about that. Thanks.
No, it's good. It was great. I thought that was awesome. You saw Zach Nelson at the game. So that was cool. Cam Judge was at the game last night. It was like a who's who.
I didn't see Cam.
I saw on his social. I was actually going to message him that he should find you at the game, but it was late, and by the time I saw it, I'm sure the game was close to over.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, by the way, New York Fries is a proud member of the Calgary community, and to give back, they're hosting free public skating opportunities at ice rinks around Calgary, open to families and the general public in support for Kids Sport Calgary. Visit FamilySkateYYC.com for a full list of times and locations presented by New York Fries. This is the warm-up. Moose is with me for a full 40 minutes, and then Lee Genier will roll in. So we got a lot of time to get to everything here. And in the top 6, I got my NHL top 5, bottom 5 coming up. World Series, CFL semifinal talk, NFL trade deadline recap. The Raptors are at the Spurs tonight. The Atlanta Hawks, hashtag true to Atlanta, are on the road at the Knickerbockers tonight, and Jerry Jones is in trouble for his Halloween costume the other day. And then the breaking news today that Daniel Schneider, the owner of the Washington Commanders, has begun looking for sale partners, I guess, for the Commanders. I'm not getting into that right now. So here's my top 5 of the National Hockey League, and it took a little while. Number 1, it's got to be the Boston Bruins. They're off to their best start in franchise history. 9-1, and the Bruins won again last night. Top team in the NHL, nobody can argue that. Number 2, the Edmonton Oilers. They're the hottest team. They've won 5 in a row and 12 points last night from the big 3, Connor, Neon, Leon, and Kane. You can't argue that. Plus, the Oilers beat the Flames here Saturday night. Number 3, the Vegas Golden Knights. For now, number 3 team in the NHL. Number 1 team in the West. Number 4, the New York Rangers. While they've slipped a little bit, and there are some teams ahead of them, Buffalo is still Buffalo, and for now they are still Buffalo. No, they're not getting in the top 5. The New York Rangers are still the New York Rangers until we see otherwise. And then number 5, the Calgary Flames, because you can't argue with Kadri, Toffoli, Huberdeau, Coleman. You can't. Mangiapane's had been playing like an all-star till the last 2 games. So while they're getting bag skated right now, they're now the 5th team in the National Hockey League. But you can't take your eye off the puck. And I want to come back on that in a second. But those are the top 5. Boston, Edmonton, Vegas, Rangers, Calgary. And then the bottom 5, I had to scribble this out and change. I had the Leafs, 28th. But I've changed my mind. The Leafs are not in the bottom 5. It goes this way. The Anaheim Ducks, and I think that Dallas Eakins is going to be the first coach fired in the NHL this year, Dallas Eakins. Then Arizona Coyotes. Then 3, the Columbus Blue Jackets. They just can't get it right. San Jose Sharks are the 2nd worst team in the NHL, and the Vancouver Canucks are the worst team in the NHL. I'm sorry. Your record is what you are, and that's what Vancouver is. I don't like talking about the worst teams, but nobody else does, and we have to. But back to the Flames for a second. One thing I realized about the media last night, and I've known these guys a long time, but I'm getting to know them a lot better. They know hockey. You know that. I'm not going to name who they are. You know who they are. The media here, they know the game. The fans, by and large, know the game, but not as well as a coach. And all the talk has been since Saturday's Battle of Alberta is they're changing the lines, they're changing the lines, they're changing the lines. You probably saw it all over Twitter and Instagram. The Flames are putting their lines in a blender. That doesn't mean diddly squat. I don't care. You can change your lines on the second shift, and you're not going with what you've been practicing with all week. You blew a 4-2 lead in the 3rd period against the basement-dwelling Seattle Kraken. So it doesn't matter what the lines are. The Flames got to stop taking their eye off the ball. It's your 20 guys have to play for 60 minutes. And it's not just physical busting your ass. It's mental, not turning the puck over. Mitch Marner. So I watch hockey differently than a lot of people. And so I don't need to go to practice and write down what the lines are or be told by Darryl Sutter or Sheldon Keefe what the lines are going to be because I don't care. Are they going to back check? Are they going to block shots? Right? So that's my take. So sorry. There's my top 5 and bottom 5. Yours?
I'm pretty close. I've got New Jersey in my top 5. I think the New Jersey Devils, they've won, I think, 4 in a row now. They're hot. And for whatever reason, I don't know if they're going to stay there. And and you're not going to like it, but I would probably bump out the Flames to make room for the Devils. Just simply because the Flames have lost 2 in a row. And that was the flip. The Flames lost 2 in a row. The Oilers have won 5 in a row. So this Alberta power struggle just continues to shift. And I think we're going to see it shift back and forth all season, which is going to be so much fun to watch. So that's the biggest change for me. And you talk about first coaches being fired. I asked you, in our pre-show meeting, how long Brad Larsen's been with Columbus. And if it's it's his first year as a head coach, I don't think he'll be the first one fired. But I think the expectations in Columbus are a lot higher, especially getting Gaudreau to play with Line A. And, they've got some decent pieces now. I think this is a team that is expecting to be a playoff team. So they've got to turn it around pretty quickly, too.
Yeah, well, you just replaced John Tortorella. They just fired Torts. They're not going to fire the next guy, in my opinion.
No.
But that's just me. I thought that Riverboat Ron Rivera in Washington would be the first coach fired in the NFL, and it ended up being Matt Rule of Carolina. So that's not to say that I'm right, but we do. This is the Canadian version of PTI. We just kick around our opinions, and dang, is it fun. Our NHL coverage is brought to you by Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Hiring now. Find out everything you need to know about Bronco at broncoplumbing.com and our Facebook and Instagram pages. Point 3, Bryce Harper and Alec Boehm helped the Philadelphia Phillies hit a World Series record-tying 5 home runs in a 7-0 win on Tuesday over the Houston Astros in Game 3 of the Fall Classic. The Phillies lead the series now 2-1. Game 4 goes tonight. Brandon Marsh, Kyle Schwarber, and Rhys Hoskins also homered for the Phillies. Ranger Suarez tossed 3 hit ball over 5 shutout innings for the Phillies. I'll say this: NHL teams, any sports team that has a big screen, and that's what we do, right? With IKS and our crew, Paul and the crew, they put up big screens. I went to the Saddle Dome real early last night because I expected bad weather, and I got it. But then I could sit in my chair and watch the World Series Game 3 last night. They really take care of the fans in these venues, so there's no excuse to stay home and not buy a ticket and go to games, because all the great arenas got a big screen and they got the game on for you. By the way, a word from our sponsor, Edo Japan. Edo Japan's fast and friendly service plus online ordering options are easy and convenient when you're on the go. We got our CFL semifinal betting lines coming up, NFL trade deadline recap, and I'll just in a minute or less tell you what I think to appease those Rough Rider fans who have written in and want my opinion on the firings of all the offensive coaches yesterday, which we told you first was going to happen. Number one, you can go to my website right now, rodpedersen.com, and it's in today's commentary. It's the top item. You can read it there. But I'll say this. I wasn't advocating for Craig Dickinson, the head coach, to be fired of Saskatchewan, but in the Canadian Football League. But they lost their last 7 games of the year. They missed the playoffs. It's the biggest flop in franchise history, and they're pointing the finger at 2 assistant coaches who were expiring contracts anyways, and an offensive coordinator who was going to leave anyways. So the head coach, the GM, and the president keep their jobs in the biggest flop in franchise history, an embarrassment, and everybody's okay with it? Forget football. These guys should be in sales. If you're buying what they're peddling, which I'm not. But everybody seems to be buying, okay, let's sweep it all under the carpet here and let's move on. I didn't think the Rough Riders board had the nerve to make a move, and I was right. So we'll continue with the rest when we return. It's the warm-up, and we're on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Okay, you're looking live at a snow-covered Calgary, Alberta. We are at the Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, Calgary's entertainment destination. And my mind is all over the place, and that's a good thing, because I'm getting a lot of messages here as we welcome in from the NHL's Bermuda Triangle, Darren Moose DuPont. But go to our website, Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, for the entire late fall and winter lineup of talent. This Friday night at the Event Center, Tom Cochrane, Life is a Highway, will be performing. I'm not sure if tickets are left or not, but he's coming on this show Friday morning in hour 2. Tom Cochrane. And Darren, I was so excited this morning, as I said to you, our Rolodex is now open to entertainment acts like Tom Cochrane and Clayton Bellamy last week from the Roadhammers. There's that. And now we're opening up into college football and the NBA and NFL. And I'm like, you would think it was easy that I talked about one team every day, year-round. It wasn't easy. It gave me multiple breakdowns, I think, trying to cover the Saskatchewan Roughriders and please everybody. So this is way more exciting and way more fun. So I gave my thoughts on the Roughriders and their firings, and we're moving on. And Chris is watching on Game Plus TV in Surrey, BC right now. He says, lifelong Canucks fan here. Totally agree with your bottom five. Horrible, basic defensive mistakes all night. Hard to watch. Stephen in North Dakota watching. He says, I am helping spread rider leadership decisions across the prairie. And then in brackets, he puts fertilizer. He's saying it's BS being spread by Canada's team, which I'm officially rescinding that title. I came up with it, so I'm pulling it. They're no longer Canada's team. They don't deserve the title. From WQEE Rock, Rhino Radio, my spirit brother, says RP is entertainment. along with Top Gun, Moose. Thanks, Ryan O'Radio.
I love it.
But he's the same man. He is a cowboy on the radio. Ryan O'Radio. I love him. I liked what he said. RP is Atlanta. That was cool. Anyways, moving on. Listen, before I come back to the CFL semifinal bets, NFL trade deadline, I'm just going to read wire copy and we'll cover it here. The NFL trade deadline turned into a frenzy with 15 teams making 10 deals involving 12 players and several draft picks on Tuesday. Edge rusher Bradley Chubb, tight end TJ Hawkinson, wide receiver Chase Claypool, suspended wideout Calvin Ridley, and running back Nyheim Hines headlined the list of players switching teams. The Miami Dolphins, fins up, bolstered both sides of the ball, acquiring Chubb from Denver and running back Jeff Wilson from San Fran. The 5-3 Dolphins are trying to catch the AFC leading Buffalo Bills, who got Hines from Indy. The NFC North leading Minnesota Vikings added Hawkinson after placing Irv Smith on injured reserve. Coquitlam, BC's Chase Claypool went from Pittsburgh to Chicago, which unloaded linebacker Roquan Smith on Monday. The NFC South leading Atlanta Falcons, #Rise Up, sent Ridley to Jacksonville in a complex deal. Ridley was suspended in March for at least the 2022 season after a league investigation determined he bet on NFL games in 2021. He blamed it on mental health concerns. Don't we all? The league said the suspension will carry through at least the conclusion of the 2022 season. I'm going to stop there, other than to say there were moves made ahead of the deadline. As you know, Christian McCaffrey going from Carolina to the 49ers, and what a debut he had. So what do you think about the NFL trade deadline, just in terms of a recap? That was a pretty good recap right there.
It was a great recap. A couple interesting ones. Calvin Ridley goes to Jacksonville. That's a futures move for Trevor Lawrence, a quarterback in that group. That's going to make them dangerous if he's able to play next year. The other one was Brandon Cooks not being traded from the Houston Texans. Many thought he would be. Negotiations went right up to the deadline. And then Cooks tweeted out how disappointed he was that he didn't get traded. He talked about covering up lies in the organization and all he's done and loyalty, and for them not to, move him to somebody who he might have a chance to make a playoff run with. He was really upset. So those were the two big for me that kind of stood out on a day where there was a lot of moves.
Stop the presses. We got some great comments coming in here from the viewers. A lot of them are bashing the CFL, and I'm not interested in doing that. If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. That's why we're talking NFL and NHL. Wayne in BC says the CFL does a great job of keeping the bashing of the league coming year after year. No spit, right? I'm not going to be that guy. John in Edmonton will get to your questions. He's got several good ones. But Todd Pinks writes in, and he says the Vancouver Canucks do have some sick blue jerseys. And I have to say, we didn't spend any time on the NHL reverse retros that were announced last week, and we should. I pretty much love them all. I'm not joking. Now, some are better than others, but I can tell you of this latest crop of thirds. And you saw our girl Annie O'Donnell down in Anaheim. I don't know how she got that reverse retro Ducks jersey, and she almost fainted. Somebody sent it to her. I mean, you're going to love your team's retro no matter what, because it's your team, right? But like the Florida Panthers have a sky blue jersey with a yellow palm tree on it. Like, who wouldn't love that? The nicest is the Los Angeles Kings. I am just a sucker for the Triple Crown and the purple and gold. I'm a sucker for it. And theirs was white base with purple and gold trim and the traditional crown. Now, historically, the greatest jersey in the National Hockey League's the Chicago Blackhawks red. Period. End of story. Mic drop. But I'll sit and talk about these third jerseys. I don't mind.
Yeah.
What do you think? Those Leaf black ones. The Leafs look bad in anything. Okay, continue. Sorry.
No, and I'm with you on that. But the Johnny Canuck, what the Canucks were wearing last, I love that. I thought that looked really, really sharp. Big fan of that. The Jets was okay, a little plain. Same with Montreal. What are you going to do with the Canadiens jerseys? there was a few other ones that were pretty sharp. But for me, yeah, that Vancouver Canucks one was really nice, and it was something so different. That's why I loved it.
Viewers love the stories, and I love telling them. So, couple things from the viewers. Ryan's watching in Manitoba. He says the Philadelphia Flyers have the best thirds. And if the Riders are not Canada's team, who fills that void? I'm saying for now, let's give it to the Raptors, the Toronto Raptors of the NBA, because they're running commercials that say that. I'm too old and too tired to come up with. I'm moving ahead. But Pink says the Flyers were wearing Cooperalls for warmies the other day. For real. Darren's having some video issues, it would appear. That's okay. I got this. The Philadelphia Flyers were wearing Cooperalls. I saw a photo. I don't think it was for real. I thought it was a photo of Bobby Clark and Tim Kerr from back in the day. I didn't realize that was this week. And I remember my first pair of Cooperalls. I've been asking my mom and dad for months, nay, years, for a pair of Cooperalls because everybody had them. The WHL players, the Flyers, the Hartford Whalers. You understand kids want what they see the Stars wearing, right? We couldn't afford it.
Absolutely.
Couldn't afford it. And I understood they couldn't afford it. And when I got to be a teen, my dad made me buy my own hockey equipment anyways, which is a good thing because it made me learn the value of money. But when I was like 10, and I wasn't going to work to raise enough money to buy Cooperalls, so I went to bed every night because I wanted them so bad. And then for my 11th birthday, guess what? I unwrapped them, and it was the most beautiful pair of royal blue Cooperalls from J&J Sports in the Golden Mile that I started crying. Now, keep in mind, I was 11, so it came with the gray, as we called it, girdle, and then the pull-up royal blue Cooperalls with a white stripe down the side. I'll never forget. And my brother Lee, who's big, hockey player, muscular guy, he looked at these things and goes, "What are those? A toy?" And my dad's like, "They're for an 11-year-old kid. They're small, size small." So I don't know where those Cooperalls are, but I remember my first pair like it was yesterday, and it was the greatest thing in the world. So I don't assume you had Cooperalls. You missed that era, right?
No, I was out of the Cooperall era, and they weren't Cooperalls, but my sister played ringette, and the ringette girls all wore the long pants, and so by that era, it was no longer cool to have the Cooperalls or to have the long pants. That was the old school. But I can imagine the day, because we had used equipment too. Same deal, right? Used skates because you're growing every year, and we had used equipment. When I bought my first pair of gloves, I saved up money and I bought Nike gloves, brand new, and I just thought I was Wayne Gretzky. I thought it was the coolest thing.
Pigs wants to know, please ask Moose if he's taking the deal or no deal on the Flyers Leafs tonight. What's the line? Who's favored? They want your betting advice. I'm assuming it's 1.5 goals, but who's favored at Toronto? It's got to be Philly. No?
Yeah, I would imagine.
Fast.
I don't know who would be favored in the game. Probably a pretty tight line. Maybe the Leafs are still favored. Toronto's got to get out of this little slump that they're in. I mean, they're only 500, but just for fun, I'll take the Leafs in this one tonight. Thanks.
By the way, Mitch Marner is not watching the media. He's watching Twitch. I'm not stupid. Okay. I watch Sports Center. Here's the wildest thing. I've got Bet Regal on my U.S. phone, the app, but I don't have it on my Canadian phone. And as we're sitting here today, I can't get it while we're sitting here to get the... Pigs, tell me what the odds are. I can't get it right at the tip of my fingers. If I was on my U.S. phone, I could. Oh, hang on. Stop the presses. From what I can see here, Phillies favored by a goal and a half. So you're saying beat the spread. That's at Bet Regal, our exclusive betting partner. Troy in Toronto says, I agree with you, Rod, about the Blackhawks red jersey. My first jersey I asked for as a kid was a Tony Esposito 35. God rest his soul. Christmas morning was so exciting opening this gift. One night, and I was in a bar in Spokane, Washington with Tony Esposito, and I've never seen anything like it. A lot of guys hand out business cards, He's handing out hockey cards. Get a stack of Tony Esposito cards.
That is
I thought it was the coolest
card.
thing ever. Yeah, here's my business card. Tony Esposito.
Got his resume on the back. Yeah.
Yeah. John in Edmonton, thank you for being persistent, John. He says, Rod, I want to hear your take on people saying that the BC Lions are exaggerating ticket sales, and also the possibility of the Oakland A's moving to Vegas. Number one, everybody lies about ticket sales, or so it seems. One of the media guys last night was telling me that the NHL is very stringent on announcing redeemed, purchased tickets, not used tickets. The NHL is good at attendance, but really nobody else is. So if somebody tells me the BC Lions are exaggerating ticket sales, I'm sure they are. How about that? And as far as the Oakland A's moving to Las Vegas, it's not going to be anytime soon because they don't have a baseball stadium. That's where the XFL team's going to be playing, at the baseball stadium in Las Vegas, by the way. But not, so it'll be a couple years. So let's put it this way. You want my take? The city of Oakland has a year, maybe two at the most, to figure out a deal for a new baseball stadium, or they're going to lose them too. And it'll be their own fault. Obviously, it's a left-wing leaning civic government. I don't like going down this road, but you asked. Those are the people that don't want stadiums and to give owners a break. And I get it, but then you lose your teams. You lose an identity. All these events, we talked about it earlier this week. Moose, I will see you later. Maybe.
You bet.
Because Lee's coming in next.
Good.
Thanks for this. It's been fun. Sports update. Curtis Rourke threw for 317 yards and 5 touchdowns in Ohio, beat Buffalo 45-24 on Tuesday night in U.S. college football. Curtis Rourke, that's the little brother of BC Lions quarterback Nathan Rourke. Curtis threw for 3 touchdowns in the first half to build a 24-10 lead. Ohio took a 7-0 lead on its first possession when Rourke lofted it into the corner of the end zone for a 16-yard score. So keep your eye on that. Ohio's doing some great things. Brad Gushue's Canadian team will be looking to build on its win over Brazil Tuesday when it plays 2 games today in the PAM Continental Curling Championships in Calgary, just up the road at Winsport. Gushue's 1-1 team will play Japan in the morning and unbeaten South Korea this afternoon. Kerry Anerson's 3-0 team from Gimli, Manitoba, will play Australia and Brazil today at Winsport. This sports update for Edo Japan. Edo Japan's fast and friendly service, plus online ordering options, are easy and convenient when you're on the go. Lee Genier in next. Derek Keenan on the way in hour 2. It's the RP Show on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, your favorite podcast platform, and on the radio on your southern home of sports and talk, WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Golf, Hawaii, and the Four Seasons. Imagine picking up your clubs and feeling like a pro for one whole week in paradise. Well, you can get that chance this December with 5-star accommodations, a 3-day tournament at a championship course, and loads of VIP experiences. The Pro Leisure Golf Tour is going to make you feel like a pro, even if your golf game doesn't. So whether you're looking to grab your golfing buddies for a tropical getaway or just wanting to find an exclusive VIP experience to take part in, the PLGT is perfect for you.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM-certified pre-owned trucks. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big, and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG. Always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
Okay, we're live. We're here. You see the commercial for DDG, Display Development Group, in the break. Those are the guys, and that's a division of IKS, right, guys, that builds big screens. I was talking about the Saddledome last night and getting there early and being able to watch the World Series. It was cool. Sorry, I got to turn up the in-house speakers here. There we go. You betcha. We got a live crew here. They came down to see you, Lee Genier, our COO.
Yes.
Our COO. This is the wildest thing that I'll never get, dude. You're sitting there and I can barely see you because it's like you're sitting in the dark, yet the lighting, you come out on television looking great. And you did that lighting with Lanny yesterday. What's the secret, man?
Well, you know what? You'll never understand how much light is reflected from all around. So it's, it's kind of like when I'd watch some of the, Stamps games. It's dark, comes out on TV, and it's brighter than whatever.
Well,
right?
Inside look, because the people love it at what we do here. We got a COO, we got Moose back in the sweatpants capital, we got the ICAST people, and they often ask me, what do you want, Rod? What do you want for lighting? What do you want for a background? What do you want? I said, I don't care. I want a mic that works, and that's it. 30-year radio guy here. You guys all fiddle around with what it looks like.
You started when you were 9.
In radio, 16. But, by the way, just to put a finishing note on the Cooperalls, how about that? The viewers are asking, well, Cooperalls have, I guess the Philly Flyers were wearing them in warmies this week. And I thought it was, I saw a picture of it, and I thought it was from the 80s. Ron Flockhart, Bill Barber, those guys. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, you guys must have all been rich to have Cooperalls. I knew my dad saved money for a year to buy me mine when I was 11, and he knew that I appreciated it. Patrolman Pete in Winnipeg says, I came of age in the late 80s when the Cooperalls were considered passé, like leisure suits. Hard to believe they went from objects of desire to the scrap heap so fast. And I'll tell you why in a second. Ryan in Saratoga, New York says, I only started following hockey in 1988, so I missed the majesty that was Cooperalls. The problem with them is if you had them for long enough, the knees wore out in them. Think of Theo Fleury sliding down the ice on his knees in that iconic goal in the Stanley Cup playoffs. It would have worn the knees out of Cooperalls. They weren't that durable. They just looked really cool, and they weren't overall very comfortable. They were like sort of like a tight polyester pant. But man, they were cool.
Yeah, maybe Lululemon's got to come back and start making them. I don't know.
You'd think you could make some now that what do the fashion people say? That are functional and breathable. Let's do it. Let's go.
I'm getting on that after the show.
I'm surprised somebody hasn't. Daniel writes in and says, the Raptors are in San Antonio tonight. Oh, and hang on. From Corey Pedersen watching in Tallahassee, Florida, he says, I hated Cooperalls. Skinny legs and Cooperalls, not a good look. You look good, Patty. You look good to me. I remember. But to the Raptors, they are at San Antonio tonight. Should be a good one. The Spurs are not what they used to be, but they still have the same coach. And the Atlanta Hawks are at the New York Knickerbockers. Hey, I'm just getting a handle on college football and more deeply into the NHL. I can't really analyze what's going on in the NBA, but you worked in pro basketball. How do you divide your sports watching time to put the NBA in right now?
Well, there's a lot going on right now. I mean, it's, you got to really pick and choose your battles and pick your games and your teams. And like last night, I was flipping through 4 or 5 channels, watching college ball, watching the World Series, watching the Flames game, watching the Oilers game. Man, there's a lot of stuff going on. So I watched I barely clicked on the NBA, but because I was just all over the place last night.
Yeah, well, listen, I want to get into the CFL semifinals in a moment with Lee, and maybe we'll carry it over into next segment where we can spend more time. But 20 seasons with the Rough Riders here, 19 seasons with the Stampeders there. Clearly, we're going to be following what's going on this weekend very closely. But last night in the press box at the Saddle Dome, I was off the top of the show. You didn't see it because you were driving here through this monumental blizzard and storm that we're in. The guys were saying, are you going to be going back to Florida right away? And I said, yes. I've been here over a year. They get it now. Everybody's being so nice. But I said, I'll get down there in time for high school football playoffs, which obviously is a big deal. College football season, NFL playoffs, obviously NHL hockey with the Panthers. It's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. Everybody's fighting for their way in the highlights, and the one thing that I will enjoy is being able to watch the NHL Network, where they spend 6 minutes a game on the highlights. It's not SportsCenter's fault in Canada or Sportsnet connected, but it's like 2 or 3 goals they score, and they got to move on to the next game when there's 12 games, Lee. You guys get robbed not having the NHL Network in Canada, I'm telling you.
Yeah, well, that's why we talk so much NHL and covering up what others miss.
Yeah, and thank you, Jeff the Stamps fan, for the segue. He says, why would there be a college game on a Tuesday night? That's a really good question, but there were 2, and there are 2 more tonight. Central Michigan's at Northern Illinois, and Western Michigan's at Bowling Green. And these leagues, I guess, Lee, you are a sports operator.
Because they know that they can capture a huge market. I mean, on Saturdays, you got how many teams are playing, right? So it's like the NFL. They know they could own every night of the week. So I think what's happening is NCAA is going to say, hey, we're going to own Tuesdays. We're going to own Wednesday nights too. They're going to stay away from Monday nights because of Monday Night Football. They're going to stay away from Thursdays because of NFL. But they can know that they can own Tuesday and Wednesday nights.
Well,
why not?
You just said it. And for instance, Jeff, as I read earlier in the sports update, Curtis Rourke, Nathan Rourke's little brother, and this is where I say thanks for the segue, threw 5 touchdowns. We're talking about it today because they played last night and they muscled their way into the spotlight. So the Ohio Bobcats are getting some pub here right now, and they're saying he's better than his older brother Nathan. Now, does that mean that he'll go straight to the NFL, or he'll go high in the CFL draft first, kind of follow his brother's footsteps?
Yeah, I mean, anything's possible. Like, I mean, I'm trying to understand when he's eligible for the draft. I'm not sure. I think he's in his 2nd year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's young.
Yeah, so he's still young. So I mean, a lot can happen, but I mean, obviously his first choice is going to be to go to the NFL draft, right? Maybe he comes out a Heisman winner. You never know. So, I guess one of those things we'll wait and see. But it's really, like I said earlier, in between on the break, was what a lineage there to have your brother playing up here, putting up the kind of yards, and then your younger brother is better than you. That's kind of like a little bit like the Flutie brothers.
Yeah, and I'm sure that he would applaud that. Nathan would, if you cheer for your brothers. Our American viewers have rallied to the cause. Darren in Salt Lake City says teams in the Mid-American Conference get paid by ESPN to play on Tuesday and Wednesday, because it's not the SAC, it's not the ACC. They're lesser followed conferences. So they moved to midweek, and this will prop them up. It's all about television, y'all. So when we come back, we'll dig into those CFL semifinals, and we'll reset in hour 2 with NHL, NFL, CFL. Do you see Dan Snyder has started the moves to sell the Commanders? So we'll be right back. It's the RP Show on Game Plus TV, live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. Hell yes. Done deal. Sold. Hoorah. Let's go.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Digging out of the snow here at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. I want to thank those that did dig out and make their way down here today. And we do have a live studio audience as well, so thanks for showing up, folks. Our COO, Lee Genier, is with us. We're doing the greatest thing ever, and that's 2 hours of fun sports talk here on Game Plus TV and the radio, WQEE. This is where we normally do viewer takeover. Clark Campbell writes in. He is in Regina. He says, can we finally say the Oilers are the best team in the West? Yes, we did. Show up on time. I did the top five and top five, bottom five earlier on, right? It was the second point in the quick six. Clark, did you have a graphic? Do you want to put it up now or save it till next hour? What the top five, bottom five in the National Hockey League? So will you tell me? You tell me. You do it? Okay, here's my top five teams of the National Hockey League as of today. Number one, the Boston Bruins. They're off to their best start in franchise history. Number two is the Edmonton Oil Kings, 5-game win streak. There you go. Our top five, bottom five brought to you by Bet Regal, our exclusive betting partner. So they're right on the screen. Number one, Boston. Number two, Edmonton. Number three, the Vegas Golden Knights. Look at that. Look at those fingers fly. Number four, the New York Rangers. And number five, the Calgary Flames, who again, Kadri, Huberdeau, Toffoli, Coleman, Backlund, Lindholm.
Weegar.
But Weegar, well, I didn't even get to the defense yet, but they're not playing like it. I kind of held my nose to have to put them in the top five. They're that talented, but they're not playing like it. And here is my bottom five in the National Hockey League in reverse order. Anaheim is the 28th team in the NHL. Arizona 29, Columbus 30, San Jose Sharks 31, and the Vancouver Canucks are the worst team and the 32nd team in the National Hockey League. I know there's a lot of people. Thank you, Clark, for that. And thanks for the question, Clark. Campbell, I have you, number one team in the West. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, why don't we have the NHL network in Canada? We have the NFL network in Canada. Why? It all has to do with contracts, and TSN owns a portion, I think, of NHL network. And because Sportsnet has Canadian NHL rights, they've blocked the NHL network from being in Canada. But who cares? Game Plus TV is where it's at. To the CFL semifinals, and this poll question today for Capital Automall Universal Collision Center. Which is Canada's game of the week in the Canadian Football League? There are only two games. The Eastern semifinal, which is the Hamilton Tiger Cats at the Montreal Alouettes, or the Western semifinal, which is the Calgary Stampeders at the BC Lions. And with over 90% of the vote, they're voting for the West Division game, Calgary at BC. And I'll get to the betting lines in a moment, but what's your take on these games, Lee?
Yeah, I would have to agree. You know, Calgary going into BC. And again, I talked about how Rourke rebounds and how he plays out a full game if they're going to play him, if he's healthy enough, and how Jake Mayer plays in BC plays, right? I mean, could be the opposite, and BC coming to Calgary and playing in 3 feet of snow. So, they're going to be playing on a dry field. I think they're pretty evenly matched right now, but again, it will be how Nathan Rourke again comes out, plays, and how their defense plays, and the secondary picks up on Jake Mayer. I don't think Jake is completely at the top of his game right now, so you might see Tommy Stevens in there. You might even see Bo, but just to mix it up, you look at the running prowess of Tommy Stevens. He had more,
last minute of play in hour one.
200 yards rushing alone. So I think we're in for a heck of a treat in that game. And then always, I think, I think the East is going to be a great battle as well. So.
The viewers have come alive. They've come out of their seats. They've all got their take on the CFL semifinals. Lee Harding writes in. My guy Lee from the Epic Times. He interviews me regularly for that newspaper. He says, glad you asked. Calgary will win, as will Montreal. I think they're passing around the hookah pipe down there at the Bet Regal odds makers. Every day the line's changing, not swelling. It's going to different teams. Now, I'll have to carry it over into next hour. I got it here somewhere. The home teams are favored to win. Yesterday was the road teams. People writing in with their NHL top five, bottom five. I appreciate you. So we'll just carry this all through into hour two. Sit through it, everybody. This break on Game Plus and WQEE Radio.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
She could be cool.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM-certified pre-owned trucks. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big, and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
Nestled in the scenic Cooperalls Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Will Ovi tie and break Wayne Gretzky's goal record? He's 114 goals away for the overall record. This is a hot button topic, dude. It's like 50-50 right down the middle on both Twitter and Facebook. I initially voted no on Twitter, and now I've changed my mind. Like, that's a lot of goals, Darren. It's hard to score one in the NHL. Maybe not for Ovi. I think he's going to do it, man.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
11-11.
Yeah, it's your lucky day, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show. I'm telling you, we're the #1 daytime sports talk show in Canada and in America. We're one of them. We're live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino in Calgary, snow-covered Calgary, Alberta, Canada. On the air on Game Plus television across all 10 provinces and 31 states, and on the radio in Metro Atlanta, WQEE. Shout out Rhino Radio and all our friends down there in the Big Peach. Let's bring in our COO, Lee Genier, who's been good enough to join us down here today. Coming out of the bullpen, when our team is taxed, we all come together, and I love that about us. But it is, I didn't even check the roads out there today, Lee. Insane, they tell me.
Yeah, I almost hit a polar bear on the way here.
Don't do that. They're going to believe it. Don't say that. But we did have two guests, and I'm not going to say who they are, but they are Hall of Famers, bail on today's show. This guy could make it, but he's the COO. I guess you had to. But I appreciate. We might see some of those Hall of Famers next week here at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. I got to just tell our viewers to not necessarily pump the brakes a little bit because I appreciate them so much, but Lee and I just got to reset what we're doing here. I had a great time. Hey, #1 in Atlanta. #1 in Atlanta. Thank you, Rhino Radio. We just hit #1 in Atlanta, by the way.
How about
Where's
that?
my I Love Atlanta hoodie / bunny hug? We've got Calgary Stampeders alumni watching. Hey-o. I'm not going to name him either. See what things are just going great. And I got to say this. Lee was asking me about the Saddledome last night where the Flames blew the game, and they blew a 4-2 lead in the third period, lost 5-4 to the Seattle Kraken. Whatever. Flames are treating me great. I got on the big screen twice. And what I'm hearing, because even Carter was saying today, how come everybody's treating you so well in Calgary? And I said, well, what I've heard is they've realized who I am, not the rider guy. I'm Rod. They like it. A lot of that has to do with you, Lee, so thank you for that. Things are going really good.
My pleasure.
Yeah, you've done good work. Now, very big news out of the NFL. My phone's blowing up. You know this because you worked in the CFL for 19 years, me 20. The CFL and the NFL are pretty close. People think they aren't, but they are. So we got some NFL guys that are watching right now in the States. I'm not going to say where. And they're just going off about the Washington Commanders. They officially are for sale. And I think the media doesn't really understand, and I'm no business guru, nowhere what you are. They're dancing around how to word that Dan Snyder, let's just say he's put a for sale sign on his NFL team today.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to guess, obviously, he's co-owner there, right? He's got another partner, so... either Roger Goodell has come up and said, hey, man, we have the 24 owners needed to get you out. Let's do this amicably. I'm sure they all have a lot of dirt on all of each other. But I'm going to guess, say, hey, let's slide out of this. Let's do it right. And the pressure has been put on him, right? I mean, he's got a bunch of skeletons that he's dealing with, a bunch of issues from his staff. So, hey, how much does he want to, he's 57 years old, and how much does he want to drag himself through the mud and drag the rest of the NFL through the mud as well?
I just want to point out, Angelo has written in. He says, I'm a first-time viewer from Atlanta. So welcome, Angelo, to the RP show. And just so you know, you can turn on your radio right now, 99.1 FM, and you will hear us in Atlanta radio right now. But what we are the heroine of sports talk. We'll just give you a little for free. And then you can't say no. We just reel you in. A little like golf. The people say, come give it a try. And then you can't turn your back on us. So, Angelo, you're in the trap.
I'd rather be climbing than falling.
You're going one of two ways in life. You're going forwards or you're going backwards. And I know where we're going. Benjamin Getz, viewer writes in, he says, the CFL All-Star selections were announced this morning. To that I say, cool. Clark, can we throw up our NHL top 5, bottom 5 again? Because we have a brand new hour. We have brand new podcast listeners on Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify right now that maybe weren't listening in hour 1. You tell me when you're ready. Okay, sure. It'd be easier for Clark to start with the bottom 5 and for us too. This is based on, we've just opened week 4 in the National Hockey League season. So the 5th worst team in the NHL is the Anaheim Ducks. And I'm telling you right now, I'm predicting that Dallas Eakins will be the first coach fired in the NHL this season. Now, the 4th worst team, number 29 in the NHL, is the Arizona Coyotes and their beautiful Mullet Arena. The 3rd worst team is the Columbus Blue Jackets, who are heading to Finland to play Colorado in a global series this weekend, 2 games. The 2nd worst team is the San Jose Sharks. And if it wasn't for Erik Karlsson, they'd be the worst. Guy's hit a renaissance of his career down there in San Jose. And the worst team's the Vancouver Canucks. Your record is what you are. Bill Parcells said it first. John Lynch made it famous. That's your bottom 5. And your top 5 in the National Hockey League are these. The Boston Bruins are the number 1 team in the NHL. They're off to their best start in franchise history. And I say good for them under Jim Montgomery, their head coach. Recovery works. Number 2, the Edmonton Oilers. They've won 5 in a row. They pasted Nashville last night. What was it, 7-4? McDavid, Neon Leon, and Evander Kane combined for 12 points. You can't go against the Edmonton Oilers. Number 3, the Vegas Golden Knights, for now. But I don't believe they have NHL caliber goaltending. Number 4, the New York Rangers. That Metropolitan Division's a little murky right now. I think we could all agree. But I think when the smoke clears, the Rangers are the number 1 team in it. And then number 5, the Calgary Flames. I'll say it again. Kadri, Huberdeau, Blake Coleman, Lindholm. The list goes on and on and on. They're not playing like it right now. but they are probably the most talented team in the NHL. They're only 10 games in, so let's pump the brakes. Let's not get too upset. But I would not want to be Calgary Flames players today at the Saddledome because Daryl Sutter is bag skating them. So there's your NHL top 5, bottom 5. Angelo in Atlanta says, thanks, y'all. He ain't leaving. See?
I got to say y'all more.
You got to get on it. You got to get on it. Lee Harding watched. He says the Oilers are, his top 5 are Oilers, 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 Oilers.
How about that?
Is he an Oilers fan?
Yeah, he actually wrote me. He wrote an article and interviewed me about the Battle of Alberta last year. And to be honest, we're not quite there yet because we're the second day of November, but all they're talking about here is Oilers Flames. They're already talking about the playoffs next year. Hey, how about this? Angelo. Who's this Angelo guy? He just says Evander Kane, drafted by the Atlanta Thrashers. I think people think I'm pulling their leg when I tell them stuff. That the listeners in Atlanta are huge hockey fans. And they're like, no, Rod, you're full of it. No, they are.
Hey, where did the Flames come from?
And the Jets. I don't know why they can't keep NHL teams there, but it's a great hockey town. I had an NHL scout say the other day, so you got to go to Atlanta? Why not? You want to go, Lee?
Absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'm friends with some friends in the Atlanta Falcons organization.
Hashtag
so, yeah.
Rise Up. NFC South Division leaders. Who saw that coming for the Dirty Birds?
Right.
Not Clark. Our producer, Clark, I will say this since I've known Clark, and that's a long time, Clark, 6, 7, 8 years. He's always been an Atlanta Falcons fan. So when we go to Atlanta, Clark's coming. Arlen Bruce III is watching, and he says, big up Atlanta. Shut amigos. We're number 1 in Atlanta, we just learned today in this time slot. Doesn't surprise me one bit.
Love it.
Jeff Cabillas in Winnipeg watching. He says 3 times a charm in the ATL for the NHL. Maybe, but I just want to say this. Where did it go? From WQEE Rock, from Ryan O'Radio. He says we have the Atlanta Gladiators and the Columbus River Dragons. And I listened to the Columbus River Dragons game on WQEE last Friday night. Tommy Callahan. It was a tremendous broadcast. But I'm getting way off track. Just one more. Jack Fulton in Vulcan, Alberta writes that he says, Atlanta, home of Stevie Baggs. CFL great, NFL alum. If we do a sports trip to Atlanta, and I'm starting to smell that we will, Stevie will be live on location with us wherever we are because he's a good friend.
He's awesome.
Yeah. I feel like I'm really rambling here, so why don't you take
over? It's 11:11, Rod.
Oh, is it right now? Not yet. It's 11:10. Check your phone.
I'm looking at that clock over there, and it says 11:11, so... Sorry.
In the casino. At least it's not 5 minutes fast or late. That looks good. Now it's 11:11. Tells us that we're on the right track.
This is my 11:11 thing. Everybody go say peace signs, but no, 11:11.
Last hour, we put last night's sports to bed. I would say Game 3 of the World Series. It was home run night there for the Phillies, and they're up 2-1. Game 4 is tonight. Can we turn our attention to tonight? Because for the vast majority of our viewers, they're out in the East. So it's afternoon there. National Hockey League tonight, there are only 2 games. The Philadelphia Flyers are at the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the Pittsburgh Penguins are at the Buffalo Sabres. World Series Game 4, Houston at Philadelphia tonight. And as I just mentioned, the Phillies are up 2-1. In the NBA, Canada's team. If you missed it, I've rescinded the term from the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I gave it to them, so I feel like I can take it from them. Canada's team, the Toronto Raptors, are at the San Antonio Spurs tonight, and the Atlanta Hawks, hashtag True to Atlanta, are at the New York Knickerbockers. College football tonight, Central Michigan's at Northern Illinois and Western Michigan's at Bowling Green. And in the Western Hockey League, my favorite league, Everett is at Brandon. Victoria is at Calgary. Tri-City is at the Saskatoon Blades. Vancouver is at Swift Current, and Prince George is at Portland. And as I'll say again, I'll be back in Florida for U.S. Thanksgiving, just in time for high school football playoffs, college football bowl season, NHL heating up. So it's going to be fun being back in Florida for that. But the Grey Cup's still to come. Have you spent here in Canada, November 20th at Mosaic Stadium in Regina? We're down to the final 6, right?
Yep.
In the Canadian Football League. And you know what? I'll spend a minute on the Riders' changes yesterday, but let's look forward. And we'll get to our poll question for a moment. Did you give your predictions for this weekend's Canadian Football League semifinals? I don't think you did.
You know what? I'm going to go with Hamilton.
Why? Everybody's going with Hamilton. I'm not saying you're wrong, but tell me why you would think the road team in this playoff game will win on Sunday.
You know, I just feel like they're hungry. I think they're hitting it on all strides right now. So I think they are going to go in and surprise Montreal. I know Gary Stern probably going to start tweeting at me.
That's the owner of the Alouettes.
And it's going to be a toss-up again. And I think Calgary going in there, but I'm going to see BC has got the edge on Calgary. And Calgary fans may not like to hear that, but I think BC has got the edge. So.
From our exclusive betting partner, our exclusive sports book, Bet Regal, here are their lines. They've changed every day. Can we check on the odds makers down there in Costa Rica and see if they're okay? Are they sober? Because every day they got a different winner in the. So as of today, make your bets at betregal.ca. Hamilton at Montreal. The Alouettes are favored by 3 at home. By them. You're picking the road dog. And then Calgary's at BC. BC Lions favored at home by 2.5. Yesterday, the Stamps were favored on the road. I've never seen a line fluctuate this much this early in a week in any league.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be some intel there that maybe we're missing, but I'm seeing these lines fluctuate so much. I mean, I'm seeing them fluctuate hours before games. So,
yeah.
That's just the new world of sports betting, right?
Our poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center: what is Canada's game of the week in the Canadian Football League? Either of these games, the Eastern semifinal or the Western semifinal. And the last I looked, over 90% of viewers are voting for the Western semifinal, which I'll be watching at Kevin the Medium's house. I'm very excited for that. We're going to have some fun with the Grey Cup halftime act in a second, but I want to tell you, first, a word from our sponsors, Landmark Cinemas. In theaters November 23rd, Devotion, an aerial war epic based on the best-selling book of the same name, tells the harrowing true story of 2 elite U.S. Navy fighter pilots during the Korean War. Their heroic sacrifices would ultimately make them the Navy's most celebrated wingmen. I got to go to that. You want to go?
Oh, we're going.
November 23rd, Devotion in theaters at Landmark Cinemas. Rick Reagan's alive today. That's our big voice guy. When we come back, we'll talk about NFL trade deadline recap. They want to talk about Dan Snyder, tonight's NHL games. We still don't know the halftime act for the Grey Cup. I don't know what's going on. I got a note here today that Thomas Rhett, my source has heard. Thomas Rhett, the country superstar, he's heard. What did Eddie Steele say last week? Eddie Steele, the Grey Cup champion defensive lineman, good friend of ours, said it would be Drake. I floated that out to somebody at the Saddledome last night, and they said, Drake would be caught dead in Regina in November outdoors at Mosaic Stadium. What have you heard, everybody? What have you heard? Who's going to be the Grey Cup halftime act? We'll talk about that when we come back.
Okay.
And more. It's the RP Show, Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, your favorite podcast platform, and on the radio, WQEE, your southern home of sports and talk, 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time. Big time. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
All right, we are live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, Calgary's entertainment destination. But we just found out that we're number one in Atlanta. How about that? WQEE. Number one everywhere we go. Before we bring Lee in, our COO, a couple things. Number one, New York Fries is a proud member of the Calgary community, and to give back, they're hosting free public skating opportunities at ice rinks around Calgary, open to families and the general public in support of Kids Sport Calgary. Visit FamilySkateYYC.com for a full list of times and locations. Presented by New York Fries. And to the dub, Connor McLennan scored twice and added 2 assists as the Winnipeg Ice defeated the Everett Silvertips 5-4 Tuesday night in Seattle. Reed Schaefer scored twice, and Kyle Krinkovic had a goal and 2 assists as the Seattle Thunderbirds clipped Prince George 5-3. In Lethbridge, Nolan Bentham scored 2 goals as Lethbridge whipped the visiting Victoria Royals 5-1. In Medicine Hat, Jaden Lipinski's goal at 3:28 of overtime gave the visiting Vancouver Giants a come-from-behind 3-2 win over the Tigers. And in Prince Albert, my former team, Landon Cozier scored twice, including the winner early in the third, and the Raiders edged the Tri-City Americans 5-4. The Philadelphia Phillies look to take a 3-1 stranglehold in the World Series tonight as they host the Houston Astros in Game 4 of the Fall Classic. And the Toronto Raptors begin a 2-game Texas road swing in San Antonio tonight. The Raps coming off a 139-109 blowout of the Atlanta Hawks on Monday. I don't want to talk about it. And the struggling Leafs play host to the Philly Flyers tonight in the NHL. Leafs have lost 4 in a row. It's one of 2 games. Pittsburgh's at Buffalo in the other. The sports update for Ballers Rec Room, your home of the RP show. Player, what are we calling it, Lee Genier? Player mix and mingle?
It's a mixer, man.
A mixer.
It is going to be the party to be at.
At Grey Cup week. Do you want to announce? You tell me what we're allowed to say and what we're not. I don't even know. I'm not the business guy.
At the week in Regina, the Canadian Football Championship party, the place to be.
Yes.
Yeah. Friday night at Ballers. The actual cup will be there.
The CFL Championship trophy?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I know we've secured some all-star friends of ours to be at the party, too. Let me just say, Major League Baseball, Canadian Football League, stars are going to be joining us down there. So follow our social media channels to get your tickets. Okay, to the viewers, whether they be watching on Game Plus TV, listening on WQEE, or on YouTube, Arlen Bruce III, he's a 2-time Grey Cup champion, writes in, he says, the halftime show at the Grey Cup, we should have Mr. Moneymaker perform. Loonies and Toonies. It's a Canadian track. That's Arlen Bruce. He's a bit of a blossoming rapper himself. Angelo in Atlanta says Shania Twain should perform. And well, I think Shania Twain should perform every year. She most recently did the 2017. Were you there?
Yeah.
In Ottawa, where she came in on a sled dog.
Was
epic. On a sled being pulled by dogs.
That's right.
Shania Twain.
Snowy Grey Cup.
Lee Harding, are you saying that Zach Hyman should perform at halftime at Grey Cup? Is that what you're saying? Come on with the Burton Cummings. Get out of here. Well, here's one from my cousin Christine in Medicine Hat. She says maybe it's Tom Cochran's announcement on the RP show on Friday.
Stay tuned.
How about that? Tom Cochran will be on this show 11:20 a.m. Friday because he's performing here at the Grey Eagle on Friday night, and I'll be at the show. I don't know if there's tickets left or not. I don't know. You have to go to GreyEagleResortandCasino.ca or call the box office to get yours. The iconic Tom Cochran.
If it's not sold out, it will be.
He's going to be on the show live, and that's where we have fun with the entertainment portion, the sports portion. I have one question, and then I'll be done for Tom Cochran. You guys write in with your questions. I have one, and you got to tune in Friday. I'm not going to let it out of the bag what it is. My heart's fluttering a little bit that I get to interview Tom Cochran. I owned his CDs. Life is a Highway. Sinking Like a Sunset. Do you have a favorite Tom Cochran track?
Yeah, Life is a Highway, and I have a story for you.
Tell us!
Off air, actually.
Oh, it's one of those.
It's one of those off-air stories.
We nailed down Tom Cochran in a day, and the CFL can't get a halftime act for the Grey Cup. I mean, we talking about this?
Yeah. Let's dig in. I mean, hey, it's only November 2nd. They still got some time to announce it.
Stop. I didn't know you so well.
It's only 18 days till Grey Cup, Rod.
Hot.
Maybe it's so big that it's going to blow us away. Or maybe it's not.
Lee Harding writes that he says Weird Al Yankovic.
Hell yes.
Jeff the Stamps fan says it's not a Grey Cup without the Guess Who.
I'm going with Brett Kissel. Rising star.
You heard that?
I may have heard it.
Hot.
Is it right? Not saying it's right, but rumors abound.
I'm just checking, man. I'm not ignoring you here. Look, let's be honest. Viewer Lee Harding's really got a lot to say. He writes and he says, make Randy Ambrosi sing himself. That's the commissioner of the Canadian Football League. I mean, what possible reason could they have for not announcing yet what the halftime Grey Cup act is. I'm trying to be serious, man. Like, they don't make it easy. They don't make it easy. It reminds me of when I got my ass ripped 6 ways from Sunday by the Riders one time, right on the sidelines. You know how these conversations go. You're making us look bad. No, you're making you look bad. Not me. CFL, you're making you look bad. Don't blame anybody else.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's what's happening. This is what this is about, is everybody's looking at it going, this looks bad. So, man, it better be the Stones. It better be U2. It better be someone big. Because I really need to kind of focus on this. So maybe it is. You know, maybe I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But at that point, like I say, if you haven't created the energy, because like I say, the Riders are out. You know, we've got a lot of friends in Regina, a lot of friends in Saskatchewan asking me. They're calling me and going, have you heard? And I said, no, I haven't. You know, and so people want to know. People want to create the excitement, man, because people, like I said, a lot of the tickets, Rider fans are going to be selling their tickets, waiting to see who's in the game. So Monday morning, after the West final, tickets are going to be on Kijiji. They're going to be everywhere, right? So maybe they'll wait till the Monday. I don't know.
What do you think about the boobs that are saying, are you going to watch a football game or a concert? I don't care about the halftime act. Should we even listen to those people?
No,
I don't.
No, I mean, as everybody knows, Grey Cup is about a 4-day party, really. That's what it's always been about. So in a lot of cases, I know, you know, I've been to 6 Grey Cups with the team, won 3 of them. The Grey Cup game is almost secondary. It's all about Canadiana, everybody coming together for that week. Fans only see each other once a year, and it's at the Grey Cup, right?
It's about the party. It's not about the game. And that's what people don't seem to understand. My guy, Mydale Mike's watching. He writes in and he says, Tom Cochrane was the grand opening headliner at the new rink in Estevan over 10 years ago. It was fantastic. Tom Cochrane. The CFL should be so lucky to have Tom Cochrane perform at this year's halftime. I'm obviously a big Tom Cochrane fan, and I'm pretty excited. I don't know, Mike, when you turned your television on, but I was saying earlier, the possibilities with regards to this show are unbelievable. Last week, Clayton Bellamy from the Roadhammers, Tom Cochrane this week, the entertainment Rolodex, the college football, the NFL. I didn't tell you, or you. I did tell Serena. We got invited to the College Football Hall of Fame induction December 6th weekend in Las Vegas. They're like, Andrew Luck's going in, Marvin Harrison's going in. Maybe I did tell you. Maybe I did mention it on the air. And they're like, do you want to come do the show live from Vegas in the Bellagio?
Yes.
Should I have said yes?
Yes.
Clearly I didn't tell you. I'm sorry. Too many things going on. We only spend 20 hours a day together, and I didn't bring it up. From Chris Putz on YouTube, he said, if the halftime act was going to be a big splash, they would have announced it 4 months ago. Get ready for a big-time letdown. You mean bigger than the Riders missing the playoffs, and this year they're hosting? Oh. Who's the chairman of the Grey? Oh. Never mind. Marshall Marcotte is watching the show in Winnipeg on Game Plus TV. And he says, do you think Quebec is looking at buying the Ottawa Senators? I have some information on that. And did you watch SportsCenter last night? Or this morning or last night?
No, not in its entirety.
That's fine. I just wondered if you saw the coverage of what they're talking about the Ottawa Senators being sold. And I'm finding it interesting to see Chris Johnson, who these are all great reporters, kind of dancing around the topic, and Bruce Garriock, all great guys. I know who the potential buyer is of the Ottawa Senators, and I'm not saying too much about it.
Well, I mean, it would make a lot of sense since
it's not Quebec.
Melnick's death. You know, as we all know, he wasn't really well regarded in Ottawa. So buying a team as opposed to expansion team, obviously, because expansion team is going to cost you probably a whole lot more money than moving the Ottawa Senators.
Well, I got, My football dogs in the States are all watching. And obviously I'm not going to let anybody know who it is. And one says, my vote is for Doug Flutie and his band. Not serious. I think we're at a point where we would take just about anybody. Aren't we?
Yeah, like I'm waiting now. I'm waiting. I think this could be the day. This could be today.
Well, aren't they flirting with getting to a point where people aren't going to care anymore? Aren't they flirting with that?
Well, because now you don't want to, you're into the playoffs. So you want everybody focusing on the games, buying tickets, building the hype for the semifinals, right? So
the home team isn't in it. So you got to find something to sell this Grey Cup, and they can't get the halftime act announced. And to say that we have it secured and we're just waiting, maybe that's true, but I don't believe a lot of what these people say. I don't really believe it. But with the Ottawa Senators, by the way, all I will say is it's not a local buyer, and this purchase price involves an arena, from what I'm told. And so that should really get the people of Ottawa behind the sale of this team from the Melnyk family to this new person. That's all I will say, who will build them a new arena, and finances are not a problem, not a consideration for them. So I think if you're a Senators fan, and I would like to talk more Senators hockey. We don't hear a lot from the nation's capital on this show. I'd like to hear more from them. It's a great franchise, wonderful city. They deserve a top-notch team and a top-notch facility. Would you not agree?
Oh, absolutely they do. Absolutely. I lived in Ottawa for about 6 months when I was a younger boy.
And?
Great city.
From what ages?
Oh, I was like 19. I was only there for 6 months. So it revolved around a girl.
My guess is, knowing you made the most of it.
I did.
From Dan in Saskatoon regarding us going to Las Vegas. He says the Pac-12 Conference Championship game in Las Vegas that same weekend is the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Right? As the bracelet says, one day at a time. I was trying to get through today. And then we'll worry about December 6th and going to Las Vegas for the College Football Hall of Fame. But I'm really starting to think that we got some chutzpah going here. You want to co-host with me? Is that something you might be interested in?
Okay.
You need to think about it? Okay.
Can we sit on the beach?
There's no beach in Las Vegas.
Well,
not a real one. Is Derek ready, guys? Yeah, I knew he would be because he's never late. Lee, I think you're done. I think we might bring Moose in. If it is, thanks for your contributions today.
Okay, I'm going to go fight the polar bears.
All right, the general manager of the Saskatchewan Rush, Derek Keenan, joining us next. It's the RP Show live from the Grey Eagle Resort and Casino in Calgary. We're on Game Plus Television, YouTube Live, your favorite podcast platform, and on the radio, WQEE, your southern home of sports and talk, 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
I gotta hit the beat.
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Golf, Hawaii, and the Four Seasons. Imagine picking up your clubs and feeling like a pro for one whole week in paradise. Well, you can get that chance this December with 5-star accommodations, a 3-day tournament at a championship course, and loads of VIP experiences. The Pro Leisure Golf Tour is going to make you feel like a pro, even if your golf game doesn't. So whether you're looking to grab your golfing buddies for a tropical getaway or just wanting to find an exclusive VIP experience to take part in, the PLGT is perfect for you.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Snow-covered Calgary, Alberta. We're live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. We are right in the middle of that wonderful facility in the stage bar at the casino. Thanks to everybody who has fought their way through the snow and storm to get down here today in terms of a live audience. We'll be talking about tonight's sports schedule coming up. But let's bring in our good friend, the general manager of the Saskatchewan Rush, Derek Keenan, as the training camps are nigh. I'm looking at the preseason schedule here. Things get going fast. Derek, welcome to the RP Show. How are things in your world right now as you get set to get it rocking again?
Hi, Rod. Well, we're ready to go, I think. I think all the guys are excited. I've talked to a good number of our leadership group guys, and they're pretty fired up for redemption season, I think.
Yeah, well, we've talked about that before, and I said if there was a couple more weeks to last year, you probably would have made the playoffs. So, yeah, that would be the theme, I guess, payback. Now, you don't have a preseason game. For our new viewers, and I should tell you, Derek, what's changed, things have evolved as you've been coming on the show. We're now on the radio in Atlanta, home of the Georgia Swarm. You got your team in Las Vegas. You saw us talking about going there. You don't have home preseason games. Can you talk about the NLL preseason and how it works?
Yeah, it's we do 2 preseason games in Toronto at the Toronto Rock Athletic Center. So it's the Rock facility that their owner, general manager Jamie Dowick, operates and owns, and it's a real good fit for us because other teams use it on common weekends, and we're able to get preseason games in against teams that are in the same facility at the same time. So first weekend we're in Saskatoon this weekend for our first weekend of camp. Then we're in Toronto for 2 in a row where we play Buffalo the first weekend in Toronto, and then the second weekend we actually play Toronto. So 2 real good tests for us, and then we close out in Calgary with a game in front of fans. So for us, it was really, I think we have in the past. I think we had Calgary in one year for a preseason game, but it's more availability of the facility and with other things going on with the hockey club and other events. But we like what we've got this year. We've added 1 preseason game. Last year we only played 2, and we played them the same weekend, and really wasn't greatly beneficial to us. This year we spread them out, and I think when we get into Calgary that last weekend of training camp, we'll have a real good idea where we are at team wise, and probably see close to what our starting lineup is going to be. That hopefully.
For our viewers, by the way, that's Saturday, November 26th, Saskatchewan at the Calgary Roughnecks, Scotiabank Saddledome. You'll have had 2 preseason games under your belt by then, so you pretty much know who your roster will be. Like, how many spots do you have open, Derek? I would assume quite a few. How many guys are coming to camp, and what's the outlook there?
Yeah, we've got 9 coming to camp. We have 21. We end up with 21 players on the active roster and 3 players on our practice roster, so 24 bodies total. So it's there's some hardcore competition. I think especially on our offensive side with we signed Marty Dinsdale as a free agent. We drafted a kid in the first round on the right side of our offense, so. There's going to be some hardcore competition there and healthy competition, I think. But, probably 3 or 4 spots we're looking to fill. I mean, look at our draft picks from last year. We're pretty sure Boudreau and Barnable are going to step in and play right away. And then from this year, I think Madronic is in a similar situation. And then after that, it's, free agent kid that we signed, Jarrett Smith, on the back end. We like him, and a couple of our draft picks too. So. And then we've got 4 goalies coming to camp, and we'll see some competition there as well.
I'm looking at this schedule, and I see the Las Vegas Desert Dogs all over it. Their preseason is up against Halifax. So what has the addition of the expansion Las Vegas Desert Dogs meant to this team, to this league in terms of rosters, I guess, because you have the expansion draft, and then just profile having a team in Las Vegas?
Yeah, I think it's great to have a team in Vegas. I mean, it's obviously worked really well in the National Hockey League and the National Football League. So I think it's real good. I mean, it's a great sports market, and I'm sure our guys are looking forward to going there. We play there the last game of the regular season, but from a league perspective, really what it's done, because it's added another team to the West, West Division. It's almost eliminated division play. I think we only play 2 teams in the East this year, so it's very heavy interdivision play or division play rather than playing more games against the other divisions. So that's the biggest change, I think, that it's added, because now we're 8 teams in the East, 7 teams in the West, so a little more balanced. Last year was 8 and 6, so you're seeing fewer and fewer interdivision games, which is it provides for great rivalries in our division, actually. And then it provides for, if you're in the playoffs and you're fortunate enough to make it to a championship game, a lot of unknowns, I think, perhaps playing a team you haven't faced. So, but it's I think it's great. It's really good for the players' expansion, more jobs. And I think it's going to be a good market there too.
I'm looking at just the schedules here, and I get excited. I'm a fan of the league, and I told you that we're on the air in WQEE, Noonan, Georgia. The Georgia Swarm, home to the Philadelphia Wings at Gas South Arena on Saturday, December 17th. You guys get going first week of December. This is exciting stuff. Like, what's the offseason been like for your guys? You seem hungry, but what are you hearing from your guys, Derek, in terms of, we want to prove that last year was a blip, not a trend?
They're really fired up. I think the guys have really done a good job, from the conversations I've had with them, that preparing their bodies, and getting prepared mentally. And I think healthy, from what I've understand. Guys last year that were banged up all year, from what I understand, we're pretty healthy so far. I mean, we haven't stepped on the floor yet, so hopefully that continues. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a redemption year for us. I think, we underachieved last year. I think we showed some warts that we tried to get better on the off season. Hopefully we've accomplished that, but we won't know. It's a funny league that way. Sometimes you have a pretty good idea. I mean, last year we were favored to win the championship in the preseason, and we didn't make the playoffs. So it can be it's a kind of league where you can turn things around very quickly as an expansion team or as an established team who's had struggles, and you can go the other way very quickly too. And I think expansion is kind of added to that intrigue of it because, you're losing a player or two, or, we've lost a good number of players over the years with expansion. So there's always that. It adds to the intrigue and the uncertainty, I think, and you'll see some of that. And we think, on paper, we're going to be a strong contender in our division and for a championship, but we won't really know until we get into it.
Well, I watched the games. You guys weren't blown out. I saw you play at home. I saw you play here in Calgary. They were close games. So it's a small edge. I think it was a mental thing, not a physical thing. And listen, next time you come on, we'll talk a little bit about these NLL games being a party because we're out of time. Like I don't drink anymore, 7.5 years sober, but I'm at the Saddle. I'm going, my God, nobody's watching the game. It was a St. Patrick's Day game. You remember that, right? I'm like, this is insane. You've been through this league for so many years. Like, were you part of making it this party? Because that's as much what the NLL is about as what's going on the floor. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I'll never forget when I played in Buffalo the first 2 years. They had an expansion team there in 92 and 93, and we went from just kind of an unknown market to having 16,000 people in the building and loud and partying and winning a couple championships. And that's kind of how I got started in the league. And I think it's carried on. And we certainly have that atmosphere in Saskatoon and in our province. So, and I think we play again in Calgary this year for the St. Patrick's Day game. So it should be interesting.
That was wild. All right, Derek, thanks for the time. Good luck. We're following closely as always. Can't wait. Good luck with the season.
You bet. Thanks, Rod.
General manager of the Saskatchewan Rush, living Hall of Famer right there, Derek Keenan. Overtime's coming up next, live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino here in Calgary. We're on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right. And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM-certified pre-owned trucks. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big, and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Here we go. Let's have some fun here in overtime as you look at Narnia. Just looks so heavenly, doesn't it? Beautiful Calgary, Alberta. We're at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. And our COO, Lee Genier, is with us here for overtime. It's brought to you by the Four Seasons Sports Palace, your home for the UFC and the National Football League. A couple messages I want to pass along from WQEE, from Ryan Radio. He says, another great show. He says, RP, Atlanta Gladiators are the ECHL affiliate for the Arizona Coyotes. And what about those River Kings? I believe they're in the Southern Pro Hockey League. I'm probably going to go to the Saddle Dome tonight, Lee. I don't expect you to join me, but the Calgary Wranglers are home tonight to Tucson. So, everybody goes to the Flames games, but it's just the real hockey people that want to go, I think, to the American Hockey League teams here. Yeah. But the scouts, the coaches are like, so Atlanta, not just are they like, you're on the air there, are you going to go there? Absolutely. But they're like, what do they got for hockey down there? Well, thank you, Ryan, for pointing that out. I'm literally just looking for a reason to go to Atlanta, and I think a Georgia Swarm game would fit right in.
Absolutely.
So we got the College Football Hall of Fame that you've said yes to. Yeah, there you go. Ryan says the River Dragons are in the FPHL. The FPHL. And he says RP is Atlanta. Thank you, Ryan. I love that every time I get it. I got to take my mind out of this. NLL. You were the executive of the year. It's got a pretty proud thing, I would think. What'd you get for that?
A nice plaque and a lot of accolades. But, I had an amazing team. Obviously we just had Derek Keenan on. He'd built an amazing team around it. Made things real easy, but and all the fans in Saskatchewan made it real easy. And the people packing that building to the absolute last seat in the house, right? So, it was probably one of the most incredible things. The time, the 3 years I spent there was amazing. Like, it was absolutely amazing to see what that had morphed into. We had a championship game. People are paying $1,600 for a pair of tickets for our championship game. So it was pretty amazing. And
I hear those games in Georgia, those NLL games, are unbelievable. That's what the players have told me. Off the hook, as the kids say. It's a party. It is a party.
It really is.
Do we want to take bets on when we will hear the Grey Cup halftime announcement?
I'm going to guess. What's the bet Regal line on when the CFL is going to announce a halftime show?
I'm actually surprised there isn't a betting line on that.
I'm sure there is.
Jeff, the Stamps fan, wants to know, how about Craig Dickinson and Jeremy O'Day running around with sparklers?
How about that?
They might be getting to... How do you feel in the time that we have left, and we got 4 minutes, your take on the Saskatchewan Roughriders? Come on, because we are a CFL. That's where we were built in a lot of ways. Show on them firing all their offensive coaches, but keeping the head coach, GM, and president in a year that they missed the playoffs.
Well, I think you really hit it on the head where those guys' contracts, Jason Moss, Travis Moore, who I've got all the respect in the world for, those guys' contracts were up, and they were most likely leaving anyway. So in today's salary caps and then the management salary caps, the coaching salary caps, those probably come into play when making the decisions whether you were going to fire O'Day or Craig Dickinson. And they need to place the blame somewhere. So Jason Moss had to fall on that sword, and I think that is a big part of it. Is everybody is pointing the fingers. That's always going to happen. I have all the respect for Craig Dickinson, great friend. Chatted with him the other day as well, and so here's a guy that was Coach of the Year 2 years ago.
2 seasons ago.
2 seasons ago. But I know everybody's looking for their heads right now. I'm glad to see Craig is still there when I'm talking Dickinson. And like I say, it probably was more of a financial decision. Which nobody wants to hear.
Yeah, that's pretty shoddy. And to be honest, I want to really put this to bed because you got teams playing this weekend, Calgary at BC, you got a Hamilton at Montreal, and enough. I got people writing me, they're very upset. I was in Lampman, Saskatchewan speaking at a banquet, and I could tell in the people's eyes they wanted me to tell them it's all going to be okay. It's not going to be okay. Okay, but the people that you have elected in charge are in charge. And it's not my thing anymore to be their therapist or open online radio. Somebody said to me the other day, you should take calls. I said, no, I shouldn't. They got a show taking calls. Call that show. Because we got other things here. We're moving on. Lee Harding, last minute of play in the RP show. Lee Harding says, Lee nailed it.
Bingo!
Whatever it is you said the financial thing more than any. Wayne says the Ryder offense was bad, but in the last 7 games, the defense wasn't great either. Well, thank you. Write a letter to the team and tell them. Jennifer says, I'm looking forward to the Pats team signing tonight. Get my Bedard jersey signed. How long do you think that lineup will be?
Long.
For Connor number 2. I think that's what we'll call him. Connor number 2. Connor number 1 is really eating things up in the National Hockey League these days. So enjoy the games, everybody. So long, Atlanta. So long, Rhino Radio. We'll see you all tomorrow, noon Eastern, right here. And thank you, by the way, Angelo in Atlanta. Man, growth is king, ain't it, Lee?
It really is.
Thank you.
Hoorah!
Who has more fun than us?
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.